What's up everybody, it's CJ and I'm back with another Pleasantville renovation video. So today we're going to be furnishing 250 Main Street, which is the community center or like the community pool lot in the world of Pleasantville. It's so funny though because like this is supposed to be like a community center, but there's not much here. I get The Sims 2, it's an old game, it was the base game. I know they didn't have like a lot of objects to work with, but there's nothing going on here outside of the pool. That's it. There's a pool, bathrooms, and like a coffee machine, and that's about it. I mean, it's not really giving community lot, really. So my goal for this build was to just try to include a lot of things to do here. When I play The Sims, I love places to go, things to do. I love for my Sims to get out the house, and I just knew that since this world isn't super big anyway, that I needed to kind of use what space I had wisely. This is classified as a community pool lot, but it's kind of also like a, a community center, town center kind of place. So there's a lot to do here. The first thing I do before we go inside is that I wanted to kind of like just change the color of some of the columns. I added some stone outside just to make it look fancy. I saw that we have this plant fence with the stone. I have never used it. I've seen it, but I've just never used it before. I think it's base game. I hope so. It could be store content. I'm not really for sure. The game just says it's base game, so I'm gonna just go with what the game says, but yeah. Hopefully it's not store content, and if it is, let me know where it comes from. But I'm using some of that. I'm also going in and I'm adding some shrubs, some plants and stuff like that, just to make the outside look really fancy. And now we go on the inside. I'm not the biggest fan of this lot because it's so cramped on the inside. Like if you look, there's really no space to do anything. Literally, you have a chair in one room, you have a coffee machine in the other. There's just not anything going on here. So my goal was to try to like, I don't know, open up the space a little bit and, still keep some of the original ideas. Like for example, I kept the bathroom obviously, but you see how it has these really weird bump outs in the front? I got rid of those, y'all. I made everything a little bit more seamless. I also tore down one of the walls in the bathroom as well, just to kind of make it a little bit bigger. So both bathrooms have stalls, but then I also wanted to put a shower. I've seen in a lot of custom worlds and even at some like places in real life, you'll have like a shower, especially if there's like a pool or something, or like a place where you can kind of like rinse off. So I wanted to kind of have that here, and also it's kind of just good to have for gameplay because Sims, they do be stinky. And they do have to use the bathroom, obviously. So I made sure to put a shower in both of these bathrooms. I kept the original stalls because I kind of like them. And, we don't really have a lot of bathroom stalls anyway in the game. And the bathrooms are kind of following like a golden-ish brown, white, and beige kind of color scheme. That's kind of what the inside is for the majority of the build. It's kind of generic, I know, but it kind of makes sense because, like, a lot of places in real life look kind of generic when you think about it, like offices and places like this. Some of them are themed, but I wanted this one to kind of be generic so it can kind of fit anywhere, and it kind of just looks nice, if that makes sense. Like, you'll see the outside looks a little generic too, but I think the end result is still nice regardless. So as you can see, now that I knocked down that wall, I'm replacing those lights with some of these from the Ambitions pack. These are just like those, generic fluorescent lights. I also got rid of those sinks and I'm putting a couple of countertops in here. These are the ones from the Ambitions pack. I just like these because these look like something you would see like in a store or like a business. I also used some of those sinks from the base game. These are the showers from the base game as well. And then I ended up using the mirrors from the Seasons pack just to kind of make the bathrooms look a little bit more fancy. Like I said, the color scheme is like a sandy kind of color, like a white, beige, golden brown, sandy kind of color. I moved the windows over a tile so they wouldn't clip with the bathroom stalls. And then I realized after I was finished recording that it made the upstairs windows and the downstairs window out of place. So like you can tell it when you look at the outside of the lot, but just know I do fix it so everything is even. It just looks very out of place and I didn't notice it until like way after. So for this little section over here, I didn't really know what to put. So I just put a couch, I put like a little end table, I'm putting up some big plants, and then I also wanted to put a bookshelf in here. I did put some little magazines as well on the end table. This is just more like, to me, a waiting room, I guess. Maybe if the bathroom is full, you just sit here, wait for people to leave so you can use the bathroom, or a shower, or, maybe your Sims just want to kind of take a breather. So I kind of just make this more like a generic waiting room kind of space, And then we also have like this space by the front door. So in my brain, I'm like, okay, maybe we could have a front desk, you know, maybe there's like someone who works here, they can answer questions, or if you want to like throw an event or something, you can call the office and, you know, reserve your space. So I put a little computer desk in here. I'm using the one from the Seasons pack, and then I put like a little chair behind it. I used a bookshelf, and then I put a couple of those like square chairs from the base game, you know. This is just supposed to be like a little lobby space, office kind of space, you know. I'd imagine that, you know, a sim may want to throw the occasional birthday party or have like an anniversary banquet or something like that here. So I wanted to kind of just play into that little office-y space. And then I also was trying to like figure out what kind of pictures to put up on a wall. And then I was reminded that we have these pool signs in the base game. They're kind of like, I guess, like rules for a pool, like don't run, don't do this, don't do that. So I put a lot of those in here. There's some in this office space. I put some like over here in the hallway. Like I was really just trying to put these everywhere, you know, because you want to inform the public, you know, like some people may not know. You know, if you eat, you shouldn't jump into the water, you know, you should wait a little bit, you know. So it's just kind of stuff like that. All right, so now we move on to the room that's right beside it. So I thought about making this room into like a kitchen of sorts, or more like a, I guess, event room, you know. So the thing about The Sims 3 is that you cannot put stoves on community lots. You can only really have them on residentials. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to put a stove here, but I did put a fridge. I also kept the coffee machine that was here, and I kept those really fancy countertops in here. I did put a big table. The one that I'm using is from, I believe, the Seasons pack, and then I used the matching chairs to go with it. And then I also gave you a square table, because, you know, like, say, like, for example, you want to have a birthday party here. You need, like, a surface for the cake so you can blow out the candles. So I put one over here in the corner, and then maybe, I mean, I doubt anyone wants to get married here, but if you just need like a surface for something, I did give you like an extra table. I put a bar in here as well, just in case you might want to drink or something. There's a sink in here so you can get water. There's the fridge for quick meals. So, you know, it's not like the best, classiest event room of all time. Say, for example, you want to have a birthday party, or if you want to have like, I don't know, some kind of other party here, you can kind of like play into that, you know. And then if you need to like add more, you can always like take this stuff away if you want to, and, you know, renovate it yourself. But I think it looks pretty cool for what we have, you know. I did use some of that tile from the bathroom, so the floor tile and the tile on the wall, and that's pretty much it for that room. So now we move on to this little room, and I knew right off the bat that I wanted this lot to have an arcade. So like I said earlier, I was really just trying my best to find a lot of things that would kind of be useful for a lot like this. So I was like, since this is like a little community center, pool center, maybe we can have like a little mini arcade, you know. So we have a claw machine, we have Whack-A-Gnome, there's 2 arcade cabinets in here as well. I got rid of those doors that were here, and I just used these archways. I thought these made more sense. It's kind of small and kind of cramped in here, but I think it looks nice. You know, your Sims are able to play. Everything should be functional. I turned move objects off just to make sure. You know, it's not the best, but I think it looks nice. And then I also do go back and like add some curtains in here too, just to kind of, you know, make it look a little bit more detailed. But in all, that's pretty much it for the inside of the building. There is no upstairs. So now we move on to the outside. So the first thing I wanted to do was get rid of this nasty tile. I don't like it, y'all. So I leave some of it because I wanted to kind of fill in the rest with the terrain paint from the Supernatural pack. This to me looks the closest like the sidewalk that we have in the world. So I wanted to kind of like use this, and then I go back and delete more of it, and then I kind of just fill in the rest of the space with some of this tile. I had a hard time trying to figure out how much of this terrain paint I should place down, because I was like, I didn't really want to fill the whole thing in. I kind of wanted to keep some grass. So I ended up like fencing off half of this section over here. So you'll see that this part right here has 2 fences. What I ended up doing was I had like one side be a kids area for like, you know, playground equipment, toys, and then I have like the other half being like a little like play area, I guess. So there's like the water balloon fight stations, a seesaw. You'll see it a little bit later. So I kind of just wanted to kind of like separate the space some. This area to me is like super classy, y'all. Like I feel like this is something you would see at a resort. So I do recolor the pool tile and then like the bottom of the pool. I get rid of those base game lounge chairs, and I'm using some of the ones from the outdoor living stuff pack. I don't know why, y'all, but I've been using these so much lately. Like outdoor living stuff pack has really been coming through lately. I also go in and I replace the tables that were beside them with these from the base game. I do go back and recolor. I kind of follow a similar color scheme outside. A lot of whites, beige, so a little bit of green here and there. I'm using some more of those plants from the outdoor living stuff pack. I found these umbrella objects from the outdoor living stuff pack, so I wanted to use some of those as well. I added another diving board out here too. I did also add a couple of these outdoor lights. lights. These are from, I believe, the World Adventures pack. I did go back and add some vending machines out here. I also swapped out those chess tables for some different ones. I really just wanted this space outside to kind of be like a chill spot. So there's a lot of lounge chairs, regular tables, chess tables. There's a couple of grills. I was so upset about the grills, y'all. So apparently only certain grills can be placed on community lots. So, you know, like we have a whole lot in the game, only certain ones can be placed on this lot type, which is so weird to me because I wanted to use the grill from the seasons pack, but for some reason you can't place it down on this lot type. So I was stuck with using the ones from the base game. I don't dislike those, but they just don't really fit the vibe of this place to me. You know, I wanted something a little bit better, but unfortunately I couldn't place it. So I kind of just settled for the one for the base game. I also would go back and add a couple of tables just so your Sims can prepare food a little bit easier. I added another pool ladder. I also wanted to use a pool slide, but I couldn't because apparently it has to be behind a wall, so couldn't place one down today, unfortunately. I do go in and add a little bit of these like pool floaty things in case your Sims want to use them. And then now we kind of go over here to the back of the lot. So like I said earlier, this is kind of like a play area, I guess. I could see like kids and like maybe like Sims that just want to like do things. I could see them coming over here to kind of hang out. So half of it is like a little sandbox play area for like, in my brain it's like, you know, kids, toddlers, that kind of thing. So I use this picket fence from the base game. I use a lot of the spring rides from the Town Life stuff pack. And then I also ended up using the spring rides from the Generations pack as well. I use that big playhouse object from the Town Life stuff pack. I also found those water sprinklers from the base game. So I wanted to use, originally I put 2 down, but I delete 1 to just have one of them. I was really just trying to find a lot of things that kind of make sense on a pool lot, and I also wanted everything to kind of be like nautical or at least water related in some way. So we have the water balloon fight station from Seasons. I did turn off move objects, so it may look a little empty back here. I wanted everything to work with move objects turned off. I do go in and fill in some empty space with shrubs and stuff. And then I also found these little surfboard chairs. I think they're from Island Living, and I wanted to kind of put those in here too. I could imagine like a parent or like an older sibling, you know, wanting to be over here to keep an eye on the kids playing. I used that pirate ship toy box in here as well. I also add some toys as well from the base game. So we have the blocks, the xylophone, a little truck. But in all, that's pretty much everything for the entire lot. Like, yo, I had so much fun furnishing this. I don't really like this lot in general because it's just kind of small. I feel like it's nice, but the inside is very cramped. But I honestly think I use the space that I had wisely. Like, I really like how it turned out, y'all. So hopefully you will too. If you want to download this lot, I am going to leave it linked down below. But anyway, y'all, that is all that I have for this video. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to leave a like, comment something down below. Follow me over on Twitch while I stream a lot more The Sims, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Thanks for watching!